Hey Cheesecake Nation, it's Super Chudge, Funk and Dave blasting at ya, and we got a kind of special video for you guys today. Couldn't tell by the hat. It's gonna be Disney related, and this is kind of a little segment we've been wanting to do for a while, and it's basically we're just gonna talk about different topics. I have some written down, and kind of do a little back and forth about different things, different industries. Our opinions on certain things. And the first topic we're going to be covering today is Disney animated movies. Yeah. So first, I'm just going to our views on them. I'm a huge Disney buff. I've seen just about all the classic animated movies. The only ones I haven't seen as of this video right now are Tangled and Princess and the Frog. I can't really think of too many of the older ones. I know I've seen just about all of them.
Yeah.
At least once when I was little. I probably don't remember a whole lot. Like, I don't remember much about the Black Cauldron except that it wasn't that great. My personal opinion. But, yeah, I've seen a lot of the newer stuff, I like a lot of the newer stuff. I love the older stuff. I've always been into animation. Like, when they were doing Epic Mickey, I was one of the few people who actually knew who Oswald the Lucky Rabbit was.
I did. But,
yeah, don't feel too bad.
Getting right into it. What's our first topic?
Alright,
Animated. Oh, basic rules. This is not purely Disney related. We will talk about MGM, Pixar, DreamWorks, everything under the sun's fair game.
Yeah.
Unless said otherwise. So.
It will just be just movies. So, we have a whole other thing about the cartoons and stuff like that, so. Yeah, so, first topic. Are underrated animated films. There are a lot out there.
Alright, you want to take the first one? What are your opinions of the most underrated of these movies? Like, if you haven't seen them, you should see it.
A lot of the early animated DreamWorks movies, like from when they first came out, yeah, people loved them, but nowadays, people have no idea, because you got, like, Prince of Persia,
Prince of Egypt?
Prince of Egypt, and don't get turned off by that if you're not religious. It's still an amazing movie.
Yeah.
Like,
great songs.
Yeah, like, it's got, like, a Disney feel to it. Like, obviously they were competing with Disney.
Yeah, I don't know what the way to compare it to something. It's almost like a Hercules, kind of. Like, not quite so action-packed.
Yeah.
But very fun. Even if you're not particularly religious. I mean, if you were just, like, one of those people that is, like, angered by religion, maybe you want to stay away from it. It is in the movie. I mean, obviously.
It's Moses.
But I mean, it's not like church is.
Yeah, like it's a retelling the story of Moses, and
yeah,
it's not super preachy or anything, Like it's not like after school fucking not after like the
Sunday school.
Yeah, it's not like a Sunday school animated.
Yeah.
PSA bullcrap. Like it's a really good movie. Road to El Dorado is a good one. Gotta say though, not really for kids. If you're a parent and you want a good classic animated movie, don't choose El Dorado. Don't.
Well, I mean, if you've got older kids like 8, 9, 10 maybe.
Yeah, ones that can understand certain things. Yeah. It's just one of those movies, like, if you watch it, it's got a lot of, what's a good word for it? Some people might say it would be inappropriate for kids.
Yeah.
A lot of, like, what is obviously being put out there. Like, if you're old enough to understand it, there's a scene where, like, they pan on two of the characters, they pan to what some of the other characters are doing, they pan back, and it's clearly these two characters just had sex.
Yeah.
Like, it's obvious what just happened. But, it's still a great movie, highly recommend it. I can't remember what it's called. It's about a horse. I don't know much about it, I just know it was fairly well done.
About a horse. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can't remember too much about it, but like Disney like takes the ball when it comes to animated movies, but then you also have obviously DreamWorks, and it's sad that they don't do a lot of or any classic animated films anymore for any company. Like it's.
What do you mean, like 2D?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, because those are just so nice.
I know there's been a lot of people that wanted to bring it back, but I just can't really see it competing.
Yeah.
On a computer-generated level. Like, I assume the budget on a 2D movie, try to do it these days, has got to be huge.
Yeah.
But, alright, here's a couple of my picks, personally. I got 3. I say, was it Cock-a-Doodle-Doo?
Rockadoodle?
Rockadoodle-Doo.
Oh yeah, that's another company. These are MGM.
Yeah.
A lot of the ones that were made by, what's his name?
The Don.
It was Tim. It's the guy who made Dragon's Lair. That guy. He's that really famous artist who used to work for Disney.
But yeah.
I'm sure I'll think about it in a second.
Yeah, you think about what it is, and I'll keep up my train of thought. Alright, fun movie. Maybe a little scary if you have like really, really young kids, but other than that, very fun. Really awesome songs.
Don Bluth. That's the guy.
So I'd recommend that.
A lot of those movies had like a very dark undertone.
Yeah, another really underrated one that I'm not really sure why it's not seen in like higher levels. Pebble and the Penguin.
Oh, absolutely. Has Tim Curry.
Yeah, as the villain. I mean,
he was a villain in two Don Bluth movies.
What's the other one?
He was the smog monster.
Oh, you're right.
In
Fern
Gully.
Yeah, Fern Gully, another awesome one.
I think that was Don Bluth, but it was definitely MGM.
And last but not least, another one that I don't really see a lot of people talk about anymore. Like, it was kind of a big thing when it first came out, and nobody really talks about it. Titan AE.
Yeah.
I mean, at the time, very visually striking. It's a little kind of odd, but a lot of fun. I think Matt Damon's actually the star in it.
I think so.
I'm pretty
That sounds about right.
And just very fun, very good movie. Alright, so time to go into the hate mail section of this.
There are definitely a lot of overrated animated movies out there. Ones that are it's not that they're bad by any means. These are still really good movies that are very highly recommendable and that we don't necessarily dislike, not at all. We're just saying they get talked up so much that we're sick of hearing about
I'm going to throw out the first one, and it's going to be a big bomb. We're going straight nuclear right at the start. Dumbo.
Really?
In my opinion, overrated. I mean, the story is just kind of all over the place. Like,
yeah.
It's like, it feels like a really old short story turned into a movie. Like, it's just weird. It's not narratively palatable. Like, it's happy, then sad, then it's happy, then sad. And it's just like all over the place, and it's just really weird. Like, it's kind of a staple of a lot of the older Disney movies. Like, if you look at Sword in the Stone, we were actually talking about this today. Very weird movie.
Yeah.
Like, in that you really never get the payoff. Like, the payoff is assumed in the end, pretty much. Like, kid, sucking at life, pulls a sword from the stone, movie ends.
Yeah.
Like, he becomes the King of England, we know that, King Arthur, but like you have to assume he does all this other cool stuff. Like, nothing is really shown in the movie.
Yeah.
Alright, you want to throw out any major ones?
Overrated movies. Oh, God. There's not a whole lot of classic ones that are overrated.
I'll throw out another classic. Snow White. I think it's a little overrated. I mean, the songs, just okay in my book. I don't think...
It was the first movie, so that was very...
Yeah. I mean, I think it gets kind of lumped in with a lot more, or a lot better movies. Like, I usually hear it get lumped in with, like, a Beauty and the Beast. And in my opinion, Beauty and the Beast is a masterpiece.
Yeah,
like,
the 4 Disney Renaissance movies, some people would consider them overrated, but at the same time, those are the 4 Disney Renaissance movies.
Yeah.
Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King.
Yeah.
Sure, they might be... Some people may consider them overrated, but they deserve to be.
Yeah, when I hear like Snow White get kind of lumped into like that group as like the greatest of Disney movies, I'm just like, no.
Sure, it paved the way for sure, and it deserves as much credit as it deserves, but it's not the best of the best. I don't even know if I would put it in the top.
Because I mean, when you compare it to the big three, you have like from that era, you have Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, Cinderella. Sleeping Beauty, as a character, Aurora, kind of a boring character, but everything around her is really cool.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Whereas then you have kind of the opposite with Cinderella, where like the story is kind of a little like, yeah. But she's such a cool character, and it's such like an imaginative idea. So like that's cool. Snow White is just kind of like,
yeah, there's really not a whole lot to her.
Like, I don't know. Maybe you guys feel different. I would love to hear people. I mean, I'll throw out the biggest movie pretty much around right now, Frozen. The plot doesn't make sense. The songs are cool, but I mean, the very first song doesn't make any like. It doesn't fit the movie. It doesn't make any sense like in the video. Like, he just punched a dull saw through ice. What are they even doing?
Yeah, like I said, Frozen, not a bad movie at all, but like it's so overrated. Like it's,
I mean, there's no comparison I could see where you try to compare it to some of the best movies. Like Tangled, in my opinion, really good. I would even say it approaches the Renaissance era. Like it is right there.
Oh yeah, a lot of people say that.
Like Tangled is really fun, really good. Frozen to me just feels like it has a lot of issues based on the fact they changed and flipped the script.
Oh yeah.
But you have any other overrated ones?
I think a lot of people liked because after The Lion King, I think Pocahontas was the one after that.
Yeah.
And I think a couple of the ones that came after that, they're overrated. Like, they're just not as good. Like, people like to think that they are.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that like Pocahontas.
Pocahontas was visually beautiful.
Yeah.
Just like that. And, you know, it was... But at the story was kind of, and especially if you know your history, that's the one thing.
Because, I mean...
That's not how it happened.
The only movie I would really say definitively outside of those four that belongs in that conversation with those four is Hunchback.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like, Hunchback visually, the songs, the voice acting, the story, like, everything is... It belongs in that conversation.
Yeah.
You could... Tarzan, kind of, but I think a lot of that is just belongs to Phil Collins.
Oh, God, fucking... yeah, like...
What about more newer movies? Anything you see that should kind of belong in, like, people should see it, but...
I don't know, like, we haven't really talked about, like, the DreamWorks, like, animated, like, CG movies.
Because there was kind of, like, an era in there where they were just kind of putting out movies, and I didn't really think anybody saw them, like Bolt.
Oh, yeah, that was a good... I don't know anything about it, really. I didn't even see it.
I saw Bolt, and nobody else saw it. That's pretty much how Bolt went. And be like, oh, did you see Bolt? Nope. All right. No word of mouth.
Yeah, and then, like, because there was a lot of movies where DreamWorks...
Neither one of us has seen that.
Yeah, that's another Disney one. Definitely, like, if you're looking for, like, Disney animated movies, just go online and just look up a list of, like, them in chronological order. There's a lot of them. Oh, and underrated movies. It's kind of a weird... I don't like to put it in with, like, the rest of the movies because it's so different, but it is considered an animated movie, is Fantasia. It's not a movie.
It's an opera.
It's a concert. It's just an animated concert, and that's what it is. And people like to group it in with other movies, but that's not what it is. So if you don't want to sit there through a concert and look at this, it's a beautiful animation.
Yeah, I would recommend seeing it once, but I couldn't imagine like ever wanting to continually watch it.
Yeah, I mean, if you honestly don't think you can sit through like classical music. Yeah,
it's like one of those things where I feel like in order to say you are a big Disney guy, you have to see.
Yeah, if you're an animation buff, you have to see it at least once.
Yeah.
If nothing else, but for the visuals.
Higher. If you have any aspirations to go into film or making music for film, it is amazingly well done. But at the same time, literally all you're looking at is images on the screen and what amounts to pretty much the background music of a movie.
Yeah.
Like, you could have had any part of that and told a story. Like, you could have added characters talking, and you could have told it. And they just don't. It is literally just a concert.
Yeah.
They bring in, the orchestra and just play, and somebody animates over it.
Yeah, Fantasia 2000 is in that same boat.
I didn't see that one.
I've only seen a little bit of it. It's basically the same thing. Like,
does it get randomly dark at the end?
I don't think so.
Because if you have little kids,
oh god,
you might want to wait on Fantasia with them. Like the scene where the devil shows up, and if you haven't seen Fantasia, you're like,
it was one of the most if you're a kid. It's one of the most scary looking pieces of animation I've ever seen in my life. Like,
just to give you a heads up, it shows the mountain, the clouds come in, it gets dark. All of a sudden, the top of the mountain just opens up.
It's the fucking devil, and
hell opens up, demons start pouring out. It's
these
really
ghosts and skeletal ghouls. It's just very disturbing imagery.
Yeah, for what is everything else is hippos and tutus dancing and fairies frolicking, and then all of a sudden that happens. So it's weird, but
I mean, there's the thing where the dinosaurs come in and they all just kind of die. That was weird. Again, it's not really your kids are. Yeah, unless you have very artsy kids, they're not going to sit through it.
Schroeder.
Yeah. Or Lisa Simpson, you're not going to be able to get them to sit through that. Maybe Fantasia 2000. Some of them. I think they kind of figured out that would be more for kids. There's one with a bunch of flying whales, which is kind of cool. Then there's Donald's Ark, which it's Noah's Ark, but it's Donald Duck. So they might get into that one. Plus, I think they redid Sorcerer's Apprentice, if I'm not mistaken. But so that's kind of an underrated one that I suggest, but only if you can sit through some classical music.
Yeah, I mean, I would say watch it, give it a chance. Again, warning if you have kids, wouldn't recommend it so much. But alright, let's keep going. What we got next?
Check the time here. Okay.
Sequels. Just do that kind of as a quick one. Any Disney movies where you feel like they should go back? Anything.
Well, let's talk about the ones that they've already put out.
Garbage.
There's only so many good Disney animated sequels, and then
Aladdin
there's two.
Has a couple of them. I know some people are kind of mixed on Aladdin 2. Aladdin 3, I think, is generally considered to be a pretty good movie.
Yeah. And those are all the direct to video ones. The only true sequel that I can think of, an actual animated sequel, was Rescuers 2.
Yeah, Down Under.
And that one was far and away, in my opinion, better than the first.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any of the nothing like that. How they always put out Mulan 2 and Sleeping Beauty 2 and because Mulan 2. Ooh. You gotta really like the Mulan verse to get through Mulan 2. That's a pretty rough movie.
It's not so much about Mulan, it's about her three friends.
Yeah, getting girlfriends. Unless you really like those guys, it's a pretty rough movie. You have no Eddie Murphy either. You have Mushu in it, but it's not Eddie Murphy.
Some guy trying to voice copy Eddie Murphy.
I've seen barely any of them.
I've actually seen a couple of the Cinderella ones. One of the Cinderella ones.
I'm not that big a fan of Cinderella to begin with that I want to see what happens.
Again, if you're an adult, don't bother.
Isn't it about her stepsister, pretty much getting a...
Yeah, there's two of them. There's one where she's living the life at the palace, and then one of the stepsisters actually becomes nice, and she marries a guy. The other two just kind of whatever.
Weighty, whatever.
and then the other one which I actually thought was kind of interesting, is where I think it takes place. It's the third one in sequence.
Yeah.
And stepmom